In this video, we are talking about how to save $500 a month, 7 bills you can lower this week. There's a moment a lot of people experience quietly. It usually happens when you're looking at your bank account toward the end of the month. Your paycheck came in, bills got paid, groceries were bought, maybe a few things popped up during the week. And when you look at the remaining balance, there's this subtle thought that crosses your mind. Where did all of it go? Not because you were reckless, not because you were buying luxury items every day. In fact, most of your spending probably felt reasonable: rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, groceries, the normal responsibilities of adult life. And yet, even when you're careful, the numbers still seem to disappear faster than expected. Yeah, that's the moment a lot of people start thinking they have an income problem. They assume the solution must be earning more, but sometimes the issue isn't income. Sometimes the issue is that your monthly bills have quietly grown larger than they need to be. And the interesting part is that many of those bills are negotiable, adjustable, or simply outdated, meaning a surprising amount of financial breathing room can appear without changing your job, your lifestyle, or your income. When people think about saving money, they usually imagine sacrifice, eating less, going out less, cutting things that bring joy. And that's why budgeting often feels heavy. It feels like restriction. But there's another way to think about financial improvement. Instead of constantly asking yourself what you need to give up, you can ask a different question. What expenses quietly increased over time without me noticing? Because most monthly bills aren't static, they drift upward slowly. Subscription services raise prices, insurance premiums adjust, internet providers increase rates after promotions expire, streaming services add new tiers. And because these increases happen gradually, we rarely question them. They simply become part of the background of life. But when you step back and review those recurring bills, you often discover something surprising. Some of them can be reduced within a single phone call. Some simply require switching providers, and others just need a quick adjustment in how they're structured, which means saving a few $100s each month often isn't about cutting your lifestyle. It's about cleaning up the systems around your lifestyle. Before we look at the specific bills, it helps to understand the psychology behind why recurring expenses creep upward in the first place. There's something economists call set and forget spending. These are expenses that automatically renew every month because they don't require active decisions. Your brain stops evaluating them. They become invisible. Streaming services, phone plans, insurance policies, internet packages, subscription apps, each one may only cost $10, $30, maybe $80. But when enough of them accumulate, the total becomes significant. The average household today often carries dozens of recurring expenses, many of which were chosen years ago under completely different circumstances. And because life is busy, those choices remain untouched. That's where financial margin quietly disappears, not through dramatic spending, but through unattended systems. Bill number one, your internet service. Let's start with one of the most common expenses: internet service. Many households pay anywhere between $80 and $150 per month. But here's something most people don't realize: internet providers frequently increase prices after promotional periods expire. You might sign up for a plan at $60 per month, then a year later, it becomes $95. 2 years later, $120. And unless you actively call or renegotiate, the price simply continues. Internet companies often rely on something called customer inertia. They know most people won't bother switching providers or negotiating, but when customers do call, discounts are often available immediately. Sometimes simply asking for the current promotional rate again can reduce the bill by $20 to $40 per month. Not because you're asking for special treatment, but because pricing in telecom is surprisingly flexible. Bill number two, cell phone plans. Another expense that has changed dramatically in the last decade is mobile service. Many people still carry phone plans designed for a different era: plans with unlimited extras, device financing, insurance add ons, premium data tiers. But today there are dozens of alternative carriers offering similar coverage for far less. Some plans cost half of what major carriers charge. And because phone plans often renew automatically year after year, people rarely revisit the decision. Lowering this bill alone can sometimes save $40 to $80 per month. And again, the lifestyle impact is almost non existent. You're simply modernizing an outdated system. Bill number three, car insurance. Insurance is another category where loyalty rarely rewards the customer. Many people stay with the same insurance company for years, assuming long term loyalty produces better rates. But in reality, insurance pricing frequently changes based on market conditions. New competitors, updated risk models, regional pricing shifts, which means the company offering the best rate 3 years ago might not be the best option today. Shopping insurance once a year can often reduce premiums significantly. Even small adjustments in deductibles or coverage levels can make a noticeable difference. A reduction of $50 per month here may not seem dramatic, but remember, recurring savings compound over time. Bill number four, subscription services, streaming platforms, music apps, cloud storage, productivity software, fitness memberships. Individually, these services feel small, but collectively, they can quietly consume hundreds of dollars each month. Many people subscribe impulsively. A new show releases, a trial period begins, a useful app appears, and because the cost seems minimal, the subscription continues indefinitely. But if you actually review every recurring subscription, something interesting usually appears. Several services you forgot about, others you barely use, some you could rotate instead of maintaining simultaneously. Reducing subscription clutter often saves $50 to $100 per month without affecting daily life much at all. Bill number five, electricity and energy costs. Energy bills are another category where small behavioral adjustments create meaningful savings. Not extreme changes, just awareness. Many households pay higher electricity costs simply because appliances run inefficiently. Lights remain on, thermostats fluctuate unnecessarily, devices remain plugged in and drawing standby power. Even adjusting thermostat settings by a few degrees or switching to energy efficient lighting can reduce monthly costs. The change isn't dramatic, but energy costs repeat every single month, which means small efficiency improvements accumulate. Bill number six, gym memberships and lifestyle subscriptions. Fitness memberships are one of the most common recurring expenses people forget about. Not because exercise isn't important, but because many memberships continue long after someone stops attending regularly. The psychology here is interesting. Canceling the membership feels like admitting defeat. So people keep paying, hoping they'll start going again soon. But sometimes the better decision is switching to something simpler: home workouts, community fitness classes, walking routines, something that aligns better with real habits. Again, this isn't about removing health priorities, it's about aligning spending with behavior. Bill number seven, your banking fees. Finally, one of the most overlooked expenses is banking fees. Monthly account maintenance charges, overdraft fees, ATM withdrawal costs, service fees attached to certain accounts. Many people pay these without realizing they're avoidable. Modern banking options have expanded dramatically. Online banks often eliminate many traditional fees entirely. Switching to a different account structure can sometimes remove $10 to $25 per month in charges. It's not dramatic, but over time, those unnecessary costs add up. When you look at these categories together, something becomes clear. Saving money doesn't always require dramatic lifestyle changes. Sometimes it simply requires attention, a handful of phone calls, a few account adjustments, a short review of recurring expenses, and suddenly $300, $400, sometimes $500 per month reappears. Not because you deprived yourself, but because you optimized systems that were quietly drifting. That's the real lesson here. Financial improvement often comes from small structural changes, not heroic discipline. If someone wants to start saving more money this month, the most effective first step isn't necessarily cutting discretionary spending. It's auditing recurring expenses. Look at every automatic payment leaving your account. Ask simple questions. Is this still necessary? Is there a cheaper alternative? Has this price increased over time? Could I renegotiate or switch providers? You don't need to solve everything at once. Even reducing 3 or 4 recurring bills can create meaningful financial breathing room. And once breathing room appears, the next financial decisions become easier. Savings become possible, investments become possible, long term planning becomes less stressful. One of the quiet truths about personal finance is that progress rarely comes from dramatic moments. It comes from small adjustments that repeat over time. Lowering a bill here, removing a subscription there, improving efficiency somewhere else. Individually, these changes seem minor, but together they create margin. And margin changes how money feels in your life because when your monthly expenses shrink slightly, the pressure eases. You stop feeling like your paycheck disappears instantly. You gain space to think, space to plan, space to build, and financial peace often begins exactly there, not with extreme budgeting, not with huge sacrifices, but with thoughtful adjustments that quietly give your future a little more room to grow. And sometimes that's all it takes to change the direction of your finances.